The new Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook Wild Game Recipes for the Grill, Smoker, Campfire, and Camp Stove is out on April 24th and is available for pre-order now. Here is your book for everything that's best cooked or eaten outside. From grilling to open fire cooking to Dutch ovens to smokers to barbecue to backpacking meals to how to pull off the perfect fish fry, with pit stops along the way for lessons about Ice Age cooking methods and the best 5 ways to construct a cooking fire you can be proud of. And of course, we're focusing on wild game and fish here with over 100 recipes, including stuffed venison burgers 3 ways, wild duck with ahi verde sauce, a jerky made with cola, a gin and tonic made with fire-charred lemons, and grilled frog legs made with a sticky sweet sauce. This ain't your normal cookbook, so be prepared to be surprised. Pre-order your copy now. For more info, visit themeateater.com.
Hey, I'm Tyler.
And I'm KC.
And you're listening to
The Element Podcast.
What's happening, all my woods people? We are trying to figure out anything we can do to hunt right now. Deer seasons are closing all around us, and we're still wanting to hunt deer.
Tired of it, all right?
We're tired of it. So we're chasing pigs, we're chasing squirrels, whatever we can get our paws on. Deer.
Some types of deer.
We chased a deer recently.
Well, I will.
Chased them down.
Dadgum, you put my ASICs to work. Chase them.
Yeah, that's right. Golly, man. Chasing January.
You did chase one the other day.
Yeah.
I guess we kind of told that story recently on a podcast. We're all really tired. So if you're a continued listener, we appreciate you sticking through the last one. We were all real tired at the end of a long trip, but it kind of made for a slower pace, kind of nicer hangout session. Today's going to be a lot of tactic stuff. Tactics might not be the right word for it, but it kind of.
It's part of the process.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like how to kill a deer necessarily, but it's how to get into a tree so that you can kill a deer. You know? It doesn't really tell you where to set, what tree to set in, but it tells you how to get into a tree effectively, safely, you know. And,
we are going to talk to our buddy Chadrick Rice, as he's sometimes called. That's his full name, or part of his full name, I guess.
I call him Rick Rice, actually.
Do you?
That's what I call him.
Chadrick Rice Roney. We're going to talk to him. He's from CRUZR Saddles. If you don't know, he is the brainchild over there. He created CRUZR Saddles, which are the saddles we use. Super comfortable. And Chad's just a super good dude who hunts and takes what he learns in the field and applies it to the stuff he produces.
And also takes good care of his family.
He does, man.
He does. He's a good
always
dad,
like,
a good husband.
man, got to check on my wife and see what she needs to get done tonight. Yeah. You know, it's good, man.
He's a good dude. We actually hung out with him. Were we in Nashville when we hung out with him?
A couple times.
Yeah, that was fun.
Once, maybe.
We hung out way past my bedtime, eating ice cream and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Remember
that's right.
That was some good stuff.
That was good ice cream.
And we ate at a really good Indian food place.
That burned me down.
Whew.
That thing I got was too hot. I like hot food, and it wasn't bad. But it was just like, dude, I couldn't enjoy it because it was so hot.
People don't talk about Indian food, but it's like for sure probably like top 2 or 3 hottest food in the world.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I bet.
Like Thai food gets the reputation. Mexican food can sometimes be spicy.
You know, I don't think Mexican food's all that hot. It's just Yankees who don't have like the palate for black pepper.
I'm sorry, y'all. If y'all are listening from Michigan right now, he's talking about you, okay?
Hey, Mark did them well. Mark Kenyon can hold his own when it comes to peppers.
He can. Good job, Mark.
Yeah, way to go, Mark. Did something right. Anyways, we hung out with him doing that. We hung out with him doing some turkey hunting. The guys went out and deer hunted with him for the Tennessee velvet season. So Chad's a good friend.
He's a giving guy.
And he makes the saddles that we use. We don't always exclusively use saddles, though.
No, we don't. We spend some time on the ground. Quite a bit of time on the ground.
Actually, more than what I even intend to usually.
Yeah,
I set out this year trying to sit in a tree, and I still killed a couple deer from the ground.
Yeah, It's it's just one of those things that you can use kind of guilt-free, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like eating a piece of kale, you know?
Yeah.
You get the food that you need. You don't really get the taste that you need, but you're guilt free at the end of the thing.
Man, I don't know.
I hadn't eaten kale in years.
I
by
hadn't
the way.
either. I used to.
It's the worst food.
Make
there
it with
is.
Catalina dressing because I thought it was healthy.
No, it's not.
It ain't, dude. It's dumb.
It's worse.
You know, I heard a guy explain this pretty good the other day. This is way off topic, but it's how we do. He was like, if I was trying to distribute seeds, I would make something tasty around that seeds to encourage people to eat me. If I was trying to live my life as a green plant and not get eaten on, I would make it to where it's not good for you, and where when you ate it, you had adverse effects, which might have something to do with why when you eat a lot of greens, you have adverse effects, right? So it's kind of like, well, maybe we need to rethink this greens thing, because let me tell you something. When I'm eating red meat and mangoes, I'm peak performance.
Are
man.
you?
Yes.
You're PPing, huh?
That's right. And honestly, like on that hunt the other day, we went on a couple other times, a lot of meat, a lot of fruit, maybe tortilla here and there.
You're going to turn into Rogan.
I tell you what, man. He's a fruit for sure.
No.
Fruitcake, man.
No, dang.
What?
Can you say that about that guy?
Yeah, man. He ain't never going to let us on this show anyway.
He's so powerful, man.
Hey, man, we're just other Texas podcasters. We should hang out. But the powerful, great Joe Rogan. No, I like this show sometimes. Sometimes not. But anyways, what we thought we might talk about a little bit here, kind of leading into Chad, was not Kale.
That was just great, man. You're funny.
We talked about some of our top setups from this deer season. Like when we felt like we were in the chips.
Yeah.
And the setup was like money, right? Tyler, can you think of one of those times that you felt that way?
I got two of them that are about a week apart.
Okay.
Nebraska. So a place that I hunted, I actually sat, 80-something yards from where I sat the year before, which you sat in that night. And I... going in that night, I felt like I really wanted to sit in that area that I ended up sitting in because of I had seen a good buck earlier in the hunt the year before when I'd killed, like in that area. So I kind of worked my way up through that stuff. You helped me out. We were trying to make a decision on, what is the best place for me to sit that evening. And eventually we got far enough into this place and close enough to the stand that we found like the trail, and it was drought, but it was like just beat down, man. And I was like, oh, dude, I can sit there and shoot from this tree. This is going to be awesome. And when we got set up in that tree, I had probably the most comfortable, like, when a deer comes down this trail, I can shoot it. It's, the trail best I could get was like 30 yards, 28 yards, something like that. So under 30 yards to the trail, didn't have to worry about wind too much. And I made a killer shot. And it was because I wasn't just doing something whack monkey in a tree or on the ground and trying to, be an all off kilter and stuff. And I ended up making a really good shot. But it just felt like that evening, bed to feed. I was sitting pretty far from, like right in the middle of food and bed pretty much. And I just felt good about it, man. And then kind of same deal in South Dakota. A little different, but had basically bedded a buck in what you'd call maybe a peninsula, even though the creek system was pretty dry, actually real dry, pretty much all the way across. It was a peninsula that had been derived from this creek system. And then there was a water hole that I had assumed was in there, and I assumed correctly. Once I got in there, I found the water hole, sick trail coming right into it. The tree was a mess. It was a willow tree.
It's a lot different than the Nebraska tree, right?
Yeah, just a real bad angle. Everything was creaky and cracky, and all the bark wanted to come off, and I couldn't get my platform, just because of the angle. It didn't want to sit on the tree very well, and I finally made it work, but it just, like every time I moved, the bark wanted to move and stuff and crack. So it was not the most comfortable setups, and I ended up making not a so great shot, but I felt really good knowing where the trail was, that if the deer came out that night, he was going to either come to that water or come down that trail and go to
You were in the
alfalfa.
spot in a good position, partially because you're saddle hunting, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I could have got – I'm almost 100% sure I couldn't have got a tree stand.
Could you hunt that
there
effectively from the ground?
No.
So that's the only way to really hunt that spot.
The willows are just too thick. Grass and willows, too tall, too thick. I had to be above just a little bit. So
I've got two that I can think of, too, that I felt really, really killer in. The tree I killed from South Dakota, that was a money spot, dude. I mean, I could have had deer come in a spot where I had too much cover and couldn't get shots, but 80% chance that they were going to filter right to where we were, down out of this ag food source, down the hill, right to where I was hanging. And it was just perfect, man, because it was an elm tree that had a trunk that went like 10 foot up and then all split out. So there's like separate trunks for me and Greg to both be in. And I just had like a perfect little hole. Now, I did make a platform adjustment, like as the started getting daylight, and realized like, oh, I need to be up a little higher, which was nice because I could do that quietly. You know, it's not a big stand. You're having to move around or anything. I did shoot that deer, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. I think I turned around and shot that deer standing up as opposed to leaning into my tether. But that's kind of the nice thing about having a platform to stand on while you're still, you know, saddle hunting, is that you can just, you know, stand up and shoot your weak side really good. And then the other spot that I felt really, really good at, I didn't kill, but you did, was recently in South Texas. One thing I learned this year, and you and I both talked about it some too, is shadows and how they can give you away, and also how you can hide and hunt in them as well, and the way the sun works. So, like, go back to Kansas, not a spot where my setup was great, but I killed a really great deer there. Partially because the sun was right on my back, and that deer could not figure out what we were because he was blinded whenever he looked at us. You kind of take that and turn it in a different direction. In South Texas, we were down there, and we had the sun at our backs, but we had a big bush behind us, and then we had grass in front of us that was like almost chin high when you're sitting down, and like literally all it's exposed is your head, and then it's also like back cover to the max. So any deer looking at you is probably going to see just a black blob, and you're like in the money.
Yeah.
And you killed a buck right there.
Yeah. So, and we had, you know, like it was weird because there's that patch of tall grass there, and on each side was a good trail. So it just felt like, and we had seen a good buck go down one of those trails the day before. And you just, when that happens, if you can shoot both those trails, it's a pretty good feeling.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I felt like something was going to die that morning, and it did.
It did.
It was pretty
sure.
nice.
Yeah.
Pretty nice stuff. So I guess kind of to play off of that, to say, and Chad will be the first one to say it, is that saddles are a tool in the toolbox, but it's an effective tool in certain situations. But ground hunting's good too. I think that Tyler and I are both in agreement that a saddle ground combo, if you can do your best to understand how to hunt in those two situations, you can hunt a lot of places effectively.
For sure. I mean, I think back to some of the stuff we did in Arkansas with Clay, and I mean, I was in a tree a lot, and the saddle is just, I mean, that stuff is so gnarly, so nasty. Like, those places have either been cut or not been cut in a long time, and so the trees are just wild. Some of them are huge at the base. You know, you have to really work hard to get your saddle into a tree sometimes, but you have the options once you get up there to work your way in between these windows of all these limbs and stuff. And that's, you know, I killed a doe on that trip, and I actually sat on the ground, but planned on being in a tree. The reason I didn't get in a tree is because I just could not find a place where I could shoot. This was a place that, if you're asking, like, if I felt confident in the setup, 100% felt like that I was going to have a shot at some deer that morning. I felt great about it, but I couldn't get into a tree. And if I got into a tree, I might have killed a really big buck that morning.
Oh,
but
scary.
I couldn't. It wasn't because the saddle stuff I couldn't get in a tree. It was because there were limbs that, I mean, I couldn't get more than like 7-10-yard shots with all the limbs that were in this area. It was very unfortunate. But I decided to get on the ground because I could shoot under all these limbs, and that's what you run into sometimes. And another reason that, you know, bringing a saddle in with you is good, because if you want to sit on the ground, you don't feel like you just overcommitted, or you're not tired and making dumb decisions and getting up in there and not being able to get shots.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Chad's got a lot of good thoughts on this stuff too. He's kind of you know, we are people who have adapted the saddle, or adopted the saddle. Yeah. And Chad kind of created a saddle kind of out of nothing, just with thoughts about how he could do some things better or whatever. So like he kind of has a different approach, kind of an engineering type mind to things. We have a pretty practical approach to stuff about how it works or it doesn't, and now don't get me wrong, Chad's a pretty straightforward guy. He says it's like this, man, a whole lot. So we're real good friends with this dude, and he's got a lot of good stuff to say. So let's just hear what he has to say.
The new Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook Wild Game Recipes for the Grill, Smoker, Campfire, and Camp Stove is out on April 24th and is available for pre-order now. Here is your book for everything that's best cooked or eaten outside. From grilling to open fire cooking to Dutch ovens to smokers to barbecue to backpacking meals to how to pull off the perfect fish fry, with pit stops along the way for lessons about Ice Age cooking methods and the best 5 ways to construct a cooking fire you can be proud of. And of course, we're focusing on wild game and fish here with over 100 recipes, including stuffed venison burgers 3 ways, wild duck with ahi verde sauce, a jerky made with cola, a gin and tonic made with fire-charred lemons, and grilled frog legs made with a sticky sweet sauce. This ain't your normal cookbook, so be prepared to be surprised. Pre-order your copy now. For more info, visit themeateater.com.
On the phone, it's like this, man. We got Chadrick Rice of CRUZR Saddles to talk to us about all kinds of stuff. Chad, what's happening, man?
Well, it's like this, man. Just LIVIN,
That's it.
That's it.
Just living day to day, bro.
Oh, man, that's hilarious.
And all the 20-something-year-olds are lost already.
That's right, Michael turned it off. They keep saying the same age, all them 20-somethings do.
Man, they do.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we've talked about in the past is how we're all Southerners, but you kind of say things different than we do. And we say, or I do, I shouldn't say we, I say, here's the deal, or something like that. And you say, it's like this, man. And it's like, it's so commanding, you just like take control of the situation when you do that, man. Where'd you learn how to do that?
I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know. It's just a natural thing I do.
That's it.
I don't know.
That's how conversation happens.
I guess my old man taught me that.
Yeah. You learn a lot from your old man?
Yeah, he's very seasoned.
Mm-hmm.
So I've learned a lot from that guy. He's done a lot of things.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. Well, you, as everybody knows, build the best saddle that I've ever put on. And we've been friends for a while and use your stuff, and you, Dedgum, spend a lot of time in them things messing around trying to come up with some new stuff to add to or not. It's kind of one of the things, it's interesting in the product world, I guess, where, innovation kind of drives sales sometimes, but at the same time, sometimes you just got something that works, and I know you got some different things going on and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, there's still people selling spatulas out there, you can't do a whole lot with
Oh, well,
wooden
yeah.
spoons, man.
Yeah, there's definitely several ways to skin a cat. So
Yeah.
That's another one you like to say a lot,
Yeah.
too. I heard you say it the other
there you
day.
go.
Did you, so
Y'all never heard that?
No,
we-
I heard it before, too.
Yeah.
But
Oh, okay.
yeah.
yeah. So, this season though, did you start like the actual deer hunting stuff was with Hunter and Brian and them? Is that right?
Yeah, man. So, Tennessee has an early velvet season. It starts, I believe it's the last weekend in August.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brian and Hunter and the interns at the time came up and they came up and, I tried to put them on some deer and, it was tough, man. It was really, really tough. It was hot, but I got on some deer the first day. Was it the first day? First or second day? I can't remember. And then we drove around trying to get permission on quite a few pieces because we just were not seeing a lot. And then, Hail Mary Hunter, he he seems to always finish, right? So
yeah,
he got one on the last day.
He made it happen, man. As a
buddy.
Cool to watch from here for sure. I actually was on a hunt. I probably left about the same day they came home as well. I probably left for my hunt, which was a different kind of deer hunt for mule deer. But you started there. You started in August. Temps are probably like in the 90s or something, pretty hot. And then kind of take us through the season. Tell us kind of where you're at, just high level. Hit on some of the stuff that you did. Most of it pretty local, or did you travel some?
Well, man, it's like this. No, I stayed local. Started off that velvet hunt, and then, regular season opens in September, and I hit it pretty hard. As you guys know, I have a pretty giant buck that I've been chasing for the last couple of years. And I got a picture of him, so I was trying to chase him, and I don't know, man. He kind of disappeared. I think I may have spooked him off the property that I'm able to hunt him on. So unfortunately, I never laid eyes on him this year, but stayed local, hunted quite a bit early season, all the way up until maybe late October, first week in November or something like that. And then, unfortunately, I had an issue go on with my right eye, which is my dominant eye. And I couldn't see my pins on my bow. It was kind of, a little scary, actually. It's a condition called uveitis, which is inflammation of your iris. And, it's like, it's very painful. You get blurry vision. So I couldn't even see out of my right eye for I think it went on for 6 weeks. So it's kind of scary.
Yeah, dude. I remember texting you kind of mid-November, kind of hyping, and you're like, yeah, man, I hadn't really been able to hunt. It's like, oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah. It really kind of sucked. So last year, as you guys know, my wife's in law school. So last year, her midterms hit right during the rut. So she's studying like a mad woman. And, I'm trying to get out when I can. And so last year, the rut got ruined because of that. And then this year, as soon as the rut hit, man, my eye just flared up. And, it just ruined the season, honestly.
Is that hereditary or what's up? Where's that? I mean, I feel as if there are probably people listening here I don't want that either. So how do I not get it?
No, it's hereditary.
Yeah.
It can be caused. It's like inflammation. So I have high inflammation in my body, just based off of I got bad genes, you know what I mean? So thanks to my family, this is hereditary.
Yeah.
But it also, the lay person can get it as well.
Yeah.
It can be caused by injury to the eye, which I didn't have. It's just a hereditary thing.
Dulled, senses for some people creates a heightened sense in other areas. So for you might be just your eyes may not be working, but your mind's eye may be working. You're just creating the best stuff that is in the hunting world right now. So
my third eye.
He's just out there smelling deer up like a Tennessee blue tick, man. Just
No, none of that happened. Unfortunately.
What did you do to circumvent that?
Well, I was going to say I did go out quite a bit. And, luckily, I don't know if it's a good thing or not. Honestly, it's not a good thing, but with an eye that's injured, I can still shoot a gun with my left eye.
Mm-hmm.
So I did go out during gun season and still stayed in the woods quite a bit. But unfortunately, I just didn't. I didn't see anything worth shooting. I saw a ton of deer, and saw a ton of deer I would shoot with my bow. but I'm not going to shoot just anything with the gun. And back when this uveitis first flared up, I actually did shoot at a pretty good buck there on that property that I have in my neighborhood. Probably about 130-inch 8-pointer.
Dang, that is nice.
And yeah, he came out with like 3 minutes left of legal shooting light. I had a decoy set up. He kind of circled around downwind of the decoy, ended up coming like 15 yards at the base of my tree, basically, and drew back on him, and I'm like closing my right eye and opening it and trying to just get my pin settled to where I could see it. Still kind of blurry, but in the midst of all that, I didn't see the grapevine hanging down from the tree right beside me and smashed it. So that deer ran out of my life and never saw him again. So
hunting's hard, man. Yeah. Bow hunting's hard, man. Like that's one thing people don't understand, man, is you watch you can sit there and watch 1,000 videos of dudes killing a deer with a bow on YouTube right now. If you want to go look for 1,000 videos to watch, and they all kill them dead, man. And then there are literally millions of dudes out there chasing them this year that most of them have. I mean, probably most of them have a miss or a bad hit that they never recovered the deer on, and it's just tough, man. I mean, getting shots, especially in trees, like sometimes you can't trim the trees. Some states you can't bait and get a shot at a deer that's standing still, potentially in the rut. The deer's running through and you have to grunt stop him. He's on edge. Like so many different variables, right? And it really is, I don't know. I just like to offer up some encouragement in this one for the listener because it's good to hear the guys that, you think do it all the time say, man, I messed it up. You know what I mean? Because there's some people out there that won't let you see their mess ups. Plain and simple. And,
that's right, man.
And it's on YouTube. All the good ones are on YouTube, and you never see the bad ones. And and I understand why, because there's a bunch of mean people out there, But but it is just like I just want to encourage people, like even old Chad Rice, man, just the coolest cat in the woods, still hits.
Oh goodness!
Hits a grapevine, every once in a while. So
most of the time I hit a grapevine. Every once in a while I'll hit a deer where I'm supposed to.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, it's bow hunting is probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. It's a game of inches, and it can go wrong real quick.
Yeah,
but
it's rewarding though. When it does go right.
It is. It's really fun to shoot one and actually make a really good shot. And you work hard all season, and when you actually pull it off, man, it is super rewarding.
Yeah, a part of like what you're talking about here is you're working in the off season and during the season sometimes to just make sure everything goes right for you. And a part of deer hunting a lot of times is hunting out of a tree. And so for you, you're like going through this season, you're not just trying to kill a deer, but you're also testing gear. You're getting ideas on what you're going to develop that could help you and potentially help others who might be hitting grapevines too or whatever. And how do you, what are some of the things that go through your mind when you're trying to, when you're thinking this is something that could help people? What are some of the things? I know you recently just released some news at the ATA that's pretty exciting. But there's different products in what you're offering that you're trying to help people basically be more successful, right? I mean, how do you look at that?
Man, really, I guess I start for what I like in a system, like what works well for me, what's going to help me be the best mobile hunter. Cause that's that's pretty much what we're doing. We're getting mobile. We're trying to, climb crazy trees, trying to be able to get in any tree and, be lightweight and not have to worry about, the durability of our gear. Mm-hmm. So, really for me, it's just about using it, figuring out if something works, something doesn't work, if I'm using someone else's product, like what do I like about it? So, you mentioned we released some news. So we have a new backpack coming out, and, I pretty much have been using a specific backpack from another manufacturer for the past, 4 years, 5 years, something like that. And I really I bought other packs in the past and tried to replace it, and I just never could because I really liked that backpack. It was just a small day pack, everything packed in it well. It rode really well on my back. It had a kidney belt on it, so it rode high above the saddle. So to be honest, I mean the best form of flattery is imitation, right? So basically I didn't copy that pack completely, but I did take a lot of the stuff that I liked in that pack and twisted it. So
it's like songwriting, man. Like there's only so many ways to write a good song that people are going to like. So how do you change it a little bit and make it your own,
Exactly. How many songs have the same 4 chords? You know what I mean? So it's sort of the same thing. Nothing under the sun hasn't been done before already. So it's like just put your own twist and your own flavor on it, and that's sort of what we did with the pack. We made it saddle hunting specific, so you can there's a place on there that you can put the platforms, can strap to the back of the pack really easily. You have a huge main compartment. You have a small front compartment. It's going to hold everything you need for a day hunt. Really good straps on the side, compression straps on the side, so you can strap sticks or, for the self filmer like you guys, a camera arm. So it's really a great, versatile, all around day pack for whitetail hunting and saddle hunting.
How often are you wearing your saddle versus sticking in the pack when you go in? Like what determines that for you, or do you always wear the saddle?
It just depends on how far I walk.
Yeah,
honestly, if I know exactly where I want to go and it's say within 500, 600 yards of the truck, I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
If I'm going and scouting my way in, I'll just pack the saddle. To be honest,
it's kind of how I am too.
Yeah.
Because you never know how long you're going to be walking around, right? Or you might not even hunt that property. You go in, you scout it, you don't see anything you like, you're probably bouncing.
Yeah.
Or end up on the ground.
Yeah.
Or end up on the ground somewhere. Yeah, because you're like running out of time.
That's what's so advantageous about the saddle game that KC and I found. We actually spent we had like 2 last day of the season hunts back-to-back years, I think, where this was probably 17, 18, something like that. It was like a year or so before we started exploring saddles. And we had lightweight mobile stands, which were 13 pounds, and then you got your harness, and of course we had all our camera gear and stuff. Such a heavy whitetail pack, and we're just using packs that we bought at Walmart or whatever, so they're not a whole lot of frame to them or whatever. They're kind of uncomfortable, and you go in and you walk 2 or 3 miles trying to scout your way into this new place because it's the last day of the season. Everybody's just slammed, Texas public land for so many days that season, and you're trying to find something and you go in and you see somebody stand that, has boot tracks that are fresh under it, and you're like, oh, that was right where I wanted to be, so I got to move on. And then literally 1 year we did that, and we ended up not hunting because we were just my shoulders were killing from heavy pack, and we were just walking around so much and so defeated. And that's one thing I like about we're living in one of the best ages in mobile hunting because it's something that a lot of people are interested in. And with all the tactical deer hunting podcasts, you can learn good things about how to get in front of deer, and you can try new things. These people have these ideas now that they're, just like songwriting or creating a saddle backpack, these people are kind of getting this idea and going, that could work here. What if I just make it my own a little bit? And then you end up taking, lightweight gear in, and people are being effective right now using lightweight gear because There's no commitment. If you don't find the tree that you want, or if it's not close enough to the trail that you want to be on, you sit on the ground and you only carried in a few pounds of saddle equipment, and it's not killing you, and you just feel like, if you had 20 something pounds of gear on or more that was for your stand setup, you would want to get into a tree. And sometimes you end up hunting the wrong spot because, you felt guilty carrying all that in or whatever. So there's just like so many different advantages that I like about the saddle stuff.
A lot of guys will kind of crack on the platform thing and be like, well, you're carrying a tree stand anyways. And, not that isn't partially true, but in the past year you came out with a smaller size platform that I think it's less about weight and more about profile at that point in time. I love that mini one, man. I use it all. That's what I pretty much went straight to as soon as we got them. Because you can fit it in trees way better. It's not like you can stick it in your pack. Instead of having to strap it on the outside, you can stick it down in there, and it's literally like it's not there. You might be able to recall the weight difference stuff or whatever, but, I mean, how much does that thing weigh? It's a couple pounds, right?
Yeah, it's 3 pounds, man, and it's, once you learn how to use a platform hunting out of a saddle, man, you really don't need much. So we still wanted to make that thing to where you could stand on it, but also just offer pretty much everything that the big platform offers, but just make it smaller, more lightweight, more compact. And I think we achieved that. And, man, I love that thing too, dude. I came from a smaller platform, and then, we knew we wanted to make the big platform first because it was kind of all the rage at the time. And then for me, I knew I wanted to make a small platform because that's what I prefer.
Yeah.
What I love about I'm a very practical guy, to the point that I almost like, if I get an Amazon card for Christmas, I can't even figure out how to spend it, because I just like, the only things I think about are things that my business could use or something stupid, and I'm just like, I can't, I'm so practical. So that's what I like about, like for instance, the backpack, or like some of the sticks that we've used. I've used a lot of different sticks, and for me, the sticks I go back to are just easy to use, and that's what it boils down to. I'm not, and at some point you get a system that works pretty well for you. It doesn't mean don't try new things, but it's hard to go away from, when you're a practical minded kind of guy, go away from stuff unless it really, you look at it and you go, that's pretty simple. If it's like, hey, this is a cool new system, you can do so many things with it, but it's like, you got to relearn the whole. That's why we were slow to saddle hunting, I think. Is like, you don't know what this thing is, and what are all these ropes. I don't understand how these ropes work. But now that I know it, I mean, I literally will just, it's like I could probably be asleep while I hang my saddle. I feel like half the time. It's like driving to work, you just like, you stop at that stop sign, but you don't remember doing that,
It's second nature, man.
But you're still not as good as that guy on YouTube.
No.
Who says you need to make sure your thing's screwed down or whatever.
Screw gate or whatever. Yeah. Close the screw gate. We get that comment from now and then. It's like, man, I'm sorry.
Which I'm sure you should, right? Okay, I'm not saying that, right?
Yeah, but you also shouldn't tailgate people at 60 miles an hour, but people do it all the time.
That's right, yeah. Or you should just type in all caps, but you're doing it right now.
Yeah, you might not should actually drive in that 2-lane 60 miles an hour, You should just get into a bubble wrap and walk around.
Oh, man.
It's funny, man.
Oh, yeah.
But to touch on the point, man, that you were talking about, like, our products are like no frill, they're simple, stupid, right? Because it's, at the end of the day, man, if it works, it works. Like, I'm seeing a lot of people in the industry just adding all these, like, just crazy things to the saddle. But
saw one today. It's like, really?
Yeah, it's kind of nuts, man. And at the end of the day, man, we're going out in the woods to kill a deer. Like, that's the point. And for me, I don't know, man.
You mean we're not trying to get 35 foot high with 2 sticks?
Yeah, or one, man.
Yeah, I mean, or just like a 1 stick and like a bunch of rope and like.
Yeah. I mean, that's the stuff. It's like I don't know. I know you do this for a living. You're trying to make efficient systems, but for me, like at some point, like you said, we're trying to hunt. We're not trying to show off our system on some forum or something. At least some people
we're
are,
not.
I guess.
We're not, but some people are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And I know there's all kinds of kinds, but just to me, it's like, you know what? The point of having these things is to hunt. It's kind of like if you were a guitar collector, which I about near am now. I don't get to play anymore. But if you're a guitar collector and you didn't play the guitars, it's kind of like, what's the point here,
Yeah.
So
no, I ain't hating, man. I just like to poke fun because it's all in good fun.
Yeah.
To each their own. If it's what you like, do it. But like at the end of the day, man, we're trying to kill deer.
Yeah. What's the best way to climb a tree? What's the best way to get into a tree, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I like climbing sticks.
Okay.
I like the CRUZR solution sticks.
There you go.
Oh, good idea.
So why is this the best?
Sweet.
Why is it the best?
So because we developed them.
Yeah.
First off. No, man, those sticks are pretty sweet. We're dropping them this year. We unveiled them at ATA. We just had some prototypes. They were kind of rough, and we wanted to bring them, show people. They were kind of rough. Paint was chipping, but I think people got the idea. But the production run of those are going to be available in June, as well as the. Sorry, I had a phone call come in. As well as the backpack will be available in June as well.
Gotcha.
But our sticks are coming in at £1.50. We'll offer them in a 3-pack and a 4-pack. These are all aluminum climbing sticks. They have a bend in the steps, so they're kind of angled away from the tree. Man, they bite the tree like better than any stick I've ever used.
Yeah, those that type of foot or whatever you want to call it, I like that a lot. I think those bite really well. The way that's shaped, I like those. They bite really well, in my opinion.
What's the attachment system on those?
So they're going to come with an steel rope, and they will sort of connect to the tree with like a boat cleat style crossover. It's hard to explain. Basically, there's 2 tabs that come off each side of the stick. You run the rope around the tree, and you kind of just exit over those tabs. So it's sort of like a boat cleat. And then when you cinch it, when you push down on the stick, it's sort of like Chinese finger traps the loose end of the rope. And dude, that thing holds really well.
I see. Cool. Yeah, so you kind of you run it kind of a figure 8 style thing a couple times right there, and then whenever you push down, it just locks everything in super quick and quiet.
Exactly.
No moving parts.
Yep.
So a 4-pack.
No moving parts.
4-packs are 6 pounds or so.
Mm-hmm.
And you sell them you'll sell them individually or just 3 and 4s, or what are you thinking?
We'll sell a 3-pack, a 4-pack, and individual sticks.
Gotcha.
And then we also have a carbon fiber version of that coming out as well.
Cool.
And they'll come in at 1 pound 3 ounces.
Fancy. That's real light. You know what's funny though, man?
Lighter.
Dude, the difference in that would total up to
5 ounces
almost 5 pounds for a 4-pack, right? So
about a pound lighter.
Yeah. So so it's like it's a thing, but as a budget-minded guy, you don't need to sit there and be like, oh man, I don't have anything worth a hoot because I can't afford the carbon fiber ones. You know what I mean? Like, just be a little tough. You ain't got to be hardly any tougher.
Here's the thing, man.
It's like this.
It's like this. when you're a young pup, you got energy. You may not have money, but you got energy.
That's right.
you get a little older, you might want to be like, you know what, I've been working some time. I'm going to add a little more money into my deer hunting account and
That's right.
buy some carbons.
That's why I've been looking at them seats with the cooling seats in the new car we've been trying to look at. I can't afford it, but I've been looking at them. You know?
Get that AC Fuji, baby. Let's go.
It'd be nice to have maybe one day, you know, but you start thinking about stuff like that.
My wife's car has those. It kind of feels like your butt is wet. You're sitting in
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
My butt gets wet down here in the summer, too, so I understand.
Yeah. So why did you develop the stick, I guess, is kind of what I'm getting to. Like, you thought that you could do a better job in certain, parts of the stick, I guess, like maybe the cleat or you wanted, the steps to be angled or whatever. Is this the ideal stick, or do you think that there's room for you to continue to grow in the stick category?
Man, in my opinion, it's the ideal stick. It affords you enough room away from the tree, so plenty of foot room. Although they're not the lightest, they are going to be probably one of the safest sticks on the market per weight. They bite to the tree incredibly hard.
How long is the whatever they call it? How long are the sticks? Step distance.
Step to step. They're going to be 18 inches step to step, 20 inches overall. They stack like super, super tight together. I believe it's only about a 1/4 inch between the posts whenever you put them on top of each other. How
high do you think most normal dudes could get with no aiders on those?
With no aiders, I would say anywhere from like 16 to 18 feet, depending on your stride. I think 4 sticks, you're getting 18 foot pretty easily.
You got an aider system with them, or are they just kind of aider ready? You can get you some amp steel or whatever.
They're aider ready, but we'll also be offering an aider system for them.
Gotcha.
For sure.
One thing I liked, I don't use the add-on aiders a whole lot. I've used some that come out the bottom of the stick that are attached, but I haven't ever used like Amsteel add-on aiders too much. But this year, somebody sent us some, and I used them on some sticks. And the way I would use them a lot of times was if I felt like I needed to get higher, like I needed to be higher than my normal set, which I don't really hunt that high usually. I'm anywhere from, like, my typical set is 12 to 16 foot probably, and
sure.
And I feel very comfortable at that distance usually, especially if in a decent tree. But if I felt like I either needed to get higher to get shots, or like a lot of times you get trees that will split like 4 foot up. And so they got a huge base, and then they Y at 4 foot, and you can't get your step or your like rope on your stick around the base of that tree, but you can get it around where it splits because it's half the diameter. Then I would take and put the stick up at like 8 foot or 6, whatever I could reach, 6, 7 foot, and I could get my rope around that trunk, and then I would add like a 3-step aider so that I could get to that stick. And I think like that's where that stuff's practical, very practical to me. Plus, if you're not real familiar with aiders, I think it can get real dicey when you get higher up in the tree.
Yeah.
So I like them on the bottom steps a lot.
Yeah. First two is a good spot.
You definitely need to know how to use an aider because it can get a little hairy.
The down is harder than the up, in my opinion. You're like, you can see the thing when you're going up. You can kind of see your foot, but when you're on the way down, especially at night when it's dark and you're kind of like reaching around down there with your foot, just trying to find something, it gets kind of sketch. It's where, the old lineman's belt's probably a good idea. It's good to have that thing on when you can. So
absolutely, man.
Yeah.
I personally, which, some people, I guess, have seen this in that video we did, but personally, I just use a movable aider. So I made a 3-step aider with like a ratchet strap hook on it, and I'll just like take that hook and put it on that bottom step of that stick, and then if I don't want to use an aider, I don't have to. It just lives in my dump pouch. So pretty sweet little system
for sure. So we actually did a video this past summer on like overcoming difficult shots and some tips and stuff like that from saddle hunt for saddle. KC did a really good job with that. Do you use like a ring of steps or anything like that, or do you pretty much just go, here's my platform and I'm going to set up to get my shots on my strong side to the best of my ability?
Yeah, basically what I'll do is typically like set up the platform like almost even with that last step on my top stick. So at a 90-degree angle around the tree from that stick. So basically whenever I pick out a tree, I'm like, all right, which way do I want to shoot? And which side of the tree do I want my platform on? And I'll basically rotate around the tree about 90 degrees or so and start climbing on that side. That way when I get up to height, I can put my platform where I want it, and that last stick is 90 degrees around the tree. Mm-hmm. So, and then my platform's almost even with it, so I can use the top of that stick as another step around the tree, and kind of use it sort of as a ring of steps. Gotcha. But for the most part, no, I don't carry anything else in the woods besides that. Mm-hmm. Like I was saying, once you learn how to use the platform, man, like. You can even set your platform way above that last stick and still get 360 degrees around the tree as long as it's not like gigantic.
Yeah, that's when big trees cause problems. I'd rather hunt a tree too small than a tree too big for sure, man. Goodness gracious.
Oh yeah.
So you're more of a sitter than you are a leaner. Is that right?
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm probably 60% leaner, 40 sitter.
Gotcha. Do you feel like your mobility as a leaner is as good as a sitter? As far as in the tree?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the way we built our platform with that angled front edge, like if you adjust your tether out far enough from the tree, like your connection point far enough from the tree, you can sit and lean with just all one motion, because you want to be far enough out to where you can use the slant on the front of the platform, and then it's like the perfect angle for you to just like sit down, if that makes sense, without touching the tether at all.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So you can just go from sitting and leaning without adjusting anything, and so realistically, you are. You have the same amount of mobility around the tree, because, that all comes from tether length. The longer your tether length is, the further you can get around the tree. The tighter it is, the more it's going to draw you into the trunk of the tree, and, it's going to be harder to get a shot around the back of the tree.
There's a ratio here that I kind of have to mess with sometimes, and it's like bridge length versus tether length. Is there a magic formula to that? I feel like the bridge thing's more about the comfort on your hips, and then the tether kind of adjusts to it. Is that right?
Yeah, it's like the 1 to 1.6 ratio, the Fibonacci rule.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. It's a little nerding out for you there.
There you go.
But no, man, it's just it's all personal preference, to be honest with you. I mean, we kind of like meant for it to be like the same length, like, eyeball level when you're standing on the platform is where you want to attach the tether to the tree. And then when you lean out, you want your feet and your feet to your legs to be that perfect 90 degrees. And then when you sit down, usually, I guess for me, I'm like 5'11", it's the perfect length away from the tree for a sitting position as well. So, and I would say anyone that's taller than that or shorter than that, it's probably close to the exact same.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of, I guess there's a ratio there. I don't know it, but
I think it might be a little personal preference too. For me, I'm not the kind of person that likes to do the monkey walk around the platform too much. I like to turn my body more. I don't like to put a bunch of pressure on the side of the platform and kind of get around the tree that way. So for me, I like a really long bridge. I usually end up with that thing all the way out at the the stop knot, and then a little bit shorter tether, and that allows me to have more turn to my body. If you kind of understand what I'm saying with that. You know? So
rotating your hips.
Yeah, exactly. You rotate your hips more, and then you can really get all your angles that way. I shot a deer this year at like the 5 o'clock angle, which was, dude, it was tough. That was a tough one, man. And it was I was really high in a tree, which is not really standard for me, So like it was just like a real awkward position, and I was able to hold that for about 3 or 4 minutes, before it was like, okay, I got to do something. Like, I don't know. There's just there's no perfect answer until we figure out how to levitate, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So you always have these kind of weak spots or whatever in any setup, right?
I don't know, dude.
Oh yeah,
things are getting crazy.
What do you mean?
Things are getting wild.
Levitating.
Man. You might be levitating before you know it, man.
Yeah, I might be, dude.
Yeah, dude. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I feel like. That's one of the things with the saddles. It's like, maybe you might have a strong side and a weak side or whatever, but man, just the mobility it gives you over a preset stand or whatever is just so huge. And that's, when we first started doing saddle stuff and talking to you and different things, we're kind of like, yeah, man, we'll probably spend some time in the tree stand, probably spend some time in the saddle. And I ain't touched a tree stand in like 3 years, dude. Like it's weird how it happens that way. And
I know, man. I've talked to so many people at trade shows and stuff, and they're like, they're like everyone else. They're like, man, I was so skeptical of this at first, and they're like, now that I've been doing it for the last season or two or whatever, it's like I'm never going back.
Yeah,
and it's like, man, it's I didn't invent this thing. I just put my own spin on it, and like it's been around forever. But like with the internet and with YouTube and all that stuff, it's just come back to the forefront and gotten popular.
Well, you were a rock climber, so I mean, it's something that you have a lot of knowledge about, the system at least, right?
Sure, and I mean, I think that's what God prepares us in everything that we do, man. Like I've done a lot of things professionally that have gotten me to this point. I feel like, and rock climbing for the saddle thing, or the saddle game, is like what helped me develop what I did, our saddle, and get the geometry right and get the feel of it right. And I mean, it's, I don't know. It's, I guess I do have a little bit of expertise there, but it's, I don't know, man. Yeah. Rock climbing definitely helped.
Yeah.
But it's been around forever. And, you just think about all the deer that would have died.
Oh, dude!
In the past, if everyone was doing what they're doing now.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
crazy,
dude.
Man.
If you had been one of the only saddle guys hunting out of saddles in the 80s on public land when people didn't want to be doing that too much, or 90s or whatever, man,
you'd have been smoking them. Dude.
Yeah.
That's funny. So speaking of like different tactics and stuff, to kind of go back to putting a bow on your season, I noticed that, when we were talking, you were sending messages and stuff, you did a lot of decoy hunting this year. Is that kind of a newer thing for you, or is that did you have like a thought with that? Did it have something to do with your eye problem that you had?
No, basically.
You saying that he put a decoy and hunted it? He hunted the decoy?
Yeah.
I shot the decoy a few times just to make myself feel better,
He did.
No. But no, I mean, this property I'm hunting in my neighborhood, like, it's super thick. It's an overgrown nursery. So, as you can imagine, like, it's super thick in there. And there's a few open spots. And I was just kind of had the thought of like, well, these deer don't really like to move through the open spots that much, or where I can actually get in a tree and actually get a shot. So it's more about just deer manipulation, movement manipulation, just trying to get them to move where I needed them to move. And also just to get like the focus off of me. Cause like a lot of the trees that I can hunt on that property, they don't have a ton of cover. So, and also I've never hunted over decoy, so I just wanted to try it.
It's pretty fun.
And it's pretty cool, man. Like I had a lot of like little 1-year-olds or 1.5-year-olds like come into the decoy, man, and just like I got a ton of video footage of a bunch of like 4-corn deer coming to the decoy. So
That's cool,
if y'all ever need any of that, let me know.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah.
But no, but I mean it did work in one scenario with that big deer.
Really?
He came out at like, I don't know, he was probably 60 yards away when he stepped out of the woods. There's a small little field, like a little bit of an overgrown field on this property. He stepped out. I watched him make a scrape, and then he caught eyes on the decoy, and then he kind of came around downwind of the decoy, which put him 15 yards under my tree. Otherwise, I don't think he would have came in bow range. I think he would have cut straight across the field and stayed 50 to 60 yards away from me.
Man.
Well, okay. The deer was within 15 yards. And then what happened?
Well, that's when I hit that grapevine.
Oh, that was the... Okay. Golly.
Yeah.
I hate it through the grapevine.
Yeah.
So...
That's my least favorite song now.
I bet. So going forward now, like looking towards next season, man, if you're thinking about this, eye problem that you've been having, are you thinking about making some adjustments to your setup to maybe help you be able to hunt more? Or like, what are you thinking about on that front?
Well, this isn't the first time this eye flare-up's happened to me. The last time it happened, I was probably in my early 20s, so I'm hoping that it never happens again.
Yeah.
But if it does happen again, maybe I'll be in my mid 40s. So that's a long time from now.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I won't have to worry about that for next season.
Was it in the right eye the last time too?
I can't remember, dude. I mean, that's
kind of a little fuzzy.
Too many skateboarder
10,
concussions.
10, 12, 13, 14 years ago. Who knows?
I got you.
Back when I was a heathen, I was probably drunk half the time,
Yeah. It was all fuzzy back in. Well, you're
exactly.
You're kind of a stick bow man sometimes too. Is that something that would be potentially something you do since you could shoot? Instinctive.
Close your eyes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Listen
with the decoy. Well, yeah. I mean, I could have. I don't know. I didn't think about that. I actually took the recurve out quite a bit early season.
Yeah.
And
no pins.
I actually shot at a little 6-pointer. And I misjudged the yardage and like basically cut a couple hairs off his.
All right, how many times did you actually shoot this year?
at deer?
Yeah.
Let's see, 3 times.
All right,
dude.
Yeah,
made some good sets.
Do some flinging.
Once in early season with the stick bow, I missed that deer. Once whenever my eye flared up. And missed that deer. And then I did kill 1 deer this year.
All right.
Nice, man.
So, and then other than that, I didn't do much hunting.
Got deer to eat. That's good.
Besides duck hunting, I've been doing a lot of duck hunting.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, what's your favorite duck?
Oh, man, probably... as far as the look of the duck, well, also the taste. Probably a Drake wood duck.
All right,
It's hard to beat, man. It's
Yeah,
pretty.
we're going to try to shoot one of those tomorrow.
Super cool duck, man. Probably one of the coolest looking ducks there are.
We got a bunch around here, for sure. They are super cool, tasty. They make cool sounds. They live in different places than other ducks, man.
Eat acorns whole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Eat acorns whole. That's right, they do.
Yeah.
I think my favorite is a widgeon.
Yeah, those are cool looking, man.
I don't know why. I just like them a lot.
I ain't never killed one.
Really?
Mm-mm. Never have.
I had one mounted one time. It got stolen at my dad's fishing lodge.
Oh, man. I killed a I killed a stud Drake hooded merganser.
Oh yeah,
out on the river a couple weeks back. I'm going to get him mounted.
that's cool.
Sweet, man.
You know,
It's not,
I saw the duck.
not technically a duck, I guess, but
Yeah,
Waterfowl.
Waterfowl. They're cool, man. They
yeah.
I saw the duck commander guys one time. They hunted out of a blind that was like 15 foot in the air. Have you been thinking about potentially saddle hunting for ducks?
You know, I went hunting out on Reelfoot Lake in a blind that was in the middle of the lake, and we stood from before daylight till 3 p.m. every day. And I'm like, dadgummit, I think I could make some sort of like saddle mesh seat to go in this blind.
Mm-hmm.
So
The wheels are turning.
The wheels were turning, buddy, for sure.
Call it the Reelfoot saddle, man.
That's it, dude.
Yeah, buddy.
The wheels are turning.
I've been enjoying the duck hunting. It's a nice little change of like my crappy deer season. So I've had some good luck.
Yeah. Well, bird hunting, what I like about it a lot is that a lot of times it's just less pressure overall. You get to chat with your friends and talk a little bit until there's birds coming in, and it's just more social. You hunt with more people usually, and there's a little more action usually, and there's no pressure because most people can't see the bands on the legs, and outside of that, a real trophy is only like if you can see a gigantic pin behind a pintail or something. All mallards kind of look the same until you get them up close. So it's
hey man,
it's less pressure.
All the ducks flying in the air look the same to me.
The black things swooping around.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you this though, we got a farm pond pretty close to my house that we've been hunting, and the first Canadian goose I ever killed off that pond, period, had a band on its leg. So
that's cool,
man.
I got ruined.
Yeah. Them things I feel like there's a high ratio of those things that are banded compared to how many, or the graders at least. It seems like it's like, and also like a lot of times guys, there was some guys around here that it's been a while, but this is a story I heard growing up that this was back before this was a thing really around here. It's still special, but like they had a bunch of graders laying on a pond. There's like 8 of them. And so they all went out there the next morning and shot them when they all came in one group, and they shot all of them. Nothing left. And every single one of them had bands. It's like they hang together throughout their migration a lot of times, like more often than other ducks.
I mean, who told you this story, though? Because this seems like a tall tale.
It's a pretty reliable source. These guys have done some stuff that's way better than that, I guess you could say, or a way bigger deal. So they got no reason to lie about it. If it was, Eric or KC, I might not believe it, but
be looking at him a little sideways. Right? So those Canadian geese that we shot that morning, a group of 5 came in. We killed 4 out of that volley, and 3 of them had bands on their legs.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Yeah,
you're
cool.
right, man. They do hang. Birds of a feather flock together.
They do,
right?
man.
So.
That's why we're talking to you.
Yeah, buddy.
I used to love waterfowl hunting, which I still do. I just don't get to do it because, nobody really cares what I have to say about duck hunting. They care about deer hunting.
Well, deer hunting is your job now.
Well,
so.
I guess so. That's unfortunate.
For a short period of time here.
Yeah. Until I get fired.
Chad, tell us the best way for somebody to go get a saddle. How should they do that?
Man, come see us at www.cruzr.com or give us a ring on the telephone, man. We love to talk to people. Our shop number is 931-854-0420.
Dadgum, getting up that good info.
It. Hey, there's a new shop coming or a new place you're going to be able to sell these things maybe?
That's right, man. We just acquired 15 acres, and 5 of those acres are going to be the new home of CRUZR Saddles headquarters worldwide.
Mm-hmm. Worldwide.
Worldwide. But yeah, we're building a new facility, and one of the coolest parts of it that I'm excited about is we're gonna be opening up a bow shop inside of it as well. So
cool, man.
We're gonna be so it's gonna sort of be a destination place. Like you can come to CRUZR's worldwide headquarters, and also maybe bring your bow to get tuned or buy something else you need. So
yeah. What are the
cool.
chances the back 10 acres or something that's going to see some CRUZR testing happening, like with deer back there?
Man, unfortunately, there's no woods on it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to go do some door knocking because there's plenty of woods around. And there's definitely some good deer in that area. So I'm going to definitely have to go be friendly with all my neighbors and try to get some permission, man.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Cool. Well, I'm excited about that for you, man. It's big time. It's going to be, I mean, y'all's facility you have now is pretty cool, but I know a guy like you has got some big plans for some cool stuff to go down, so I can't wait to come visit, man.
Buddy.
Appreciate the time today. Congrats on the deer you got this year and all the ducks and all the fun you got to have, and we appreciate, of course, just your friendship, man. You really are, bro.
Absolutely.
And love to know you as a brother and just get to hang out and talk, man. So appreciate the time today,
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely, man. Love you guys and appreciate the friendship and can't wait to see where it goes in the future, man.
Yes, sir. We'll see you soon, dude.
All right, guys. See you guys.
Like you mentioned at the beginning of this episode, actually, I shot a buck recently in South Texas, and the guys were down there with us, the whole crew. As Brian likes to say, the core six. But he's tongue-in-cheek there. But they were actually doing some sick fishing on the coast down there in the area. Some fishing. Some clear water. They were catching toads, man. And they made a whole video out of it. And I think they're going to edit up a big video with all the catches and everything. And it's going to be just 100 catches in 100 seconds kind of thing or something. Whatever. I don't know what they're going to do. But they just put out one where they caught a few fish, caught a nice trout, and cooked it. Actually, you cooked it. You did a great job. It was a little snack for us one night. We just put that out. You can go check it out on YouTube if you want. And there'll be another video of that to come, and more from that trip, as well as it'll be the dark meat side of things, So
I like that.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, if you haven't, we'd really appreciate it if you subscribe on YouTube, follow us over there, check us out on socials as well. All that stuff will be linked below. And guys, it's never over. A lot of y'all might be done hunting right now for deer.
It's a lifestyle, dude.
But man, it's postseason scouting time, and I know y'all get burnt out on it, but let me tell you, postseason scouting is the best scouting.
Oh, it's the place to kill deer.
It's where you learn stuff. We'll probably talk more about that coming up here in the future. We're actually going to get out tomorrow, do some small game hunting, some pig hunting, some boating around, some camera pulling, and I guarantee you we're going to be scouting while we're doing it because Tyler and I cannot help but get distracted. Yeah. So we'll probably have some more stuff to talk about on that front here pretty soon.
You can also check that out on our Instagram stories. We'll be running some of that stuff on the stories.
Good idea, man. Good idea. Yep. Go check out the stories so you kind of see how that play-by-play goes on that. Remember that postseason scouting is the best scouting. And remember, this is your element.
Live in it.
The new Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook Wild Game Recipes for the Grill, Smoker, Campfire, and Camp Stove is out on April 24th and is available for pre-order now. Here is your book for everything that's best cooked or eaten outside. From grilling to open fire cooking to Dutch ovens to smokers to barbecue to backpacking meals to how to pull off the perfect fish fry, with pit stops along the way for lessons about Ice Age cooking methods and the best 5 ways to construct a cooking fire you can be proud of. And of course, we're focusing on wild game and fish here with over 100 recipes, including stuffed venison burgers 3 ways, wild duck with ahi verde sauce, a jerky made with cola, a gin and tonic made with fire-charred lemons, and grilled frog legs made with a sticky sweet sauce. This ain't your normal cookbook, so be prepared to be surprised. Pre-order your copy now. For more info, visit themeateater.com.